That's how just emotionally distraught I am, per se. Well, first things first, guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, please feel free to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the little bell on the side so that way you get notifications every time I upload new content. As you can see, I am very emotional right now, and I'm really trying not to cry so that I can talk to you guys and you guys can understand everything that I'm saying. And I'm also trying to like sum it up in my head so that this doesn't turn into like an hour-long video. But as you know, I am 36 weeks pregnant, and this pregnancy, I decided, me and my man, we decided to finally do our home birth. So when I was pregnant with Kianah a year and a half ago, we had actually spoke with a midwife, and I was probably already about 27 weeks when we did meet up with her. And pretty much what it came down to is, at the time I was taking antidepressants because when I was 21 weeks pregnant with Kianah, I did try to self-harm, and therefore I was actually hospitalized for the first time in a mental facility for a week. And not many people know this about me, but I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. And I made a Facebook post about this, and the reason being is because I have it's a very small following, but I constantly receive messages from you guys about, you know, whether it's someone who's known me since high school, and you know, y'all are just commending me on how good I've done and this and that, but no one sees the dark, you know. And so I was hospitalized, therefore I finally saw a psychiatrist, and I was officially diagnosed with bipolar disorder as well as anxiety and depression, which I knew I had. I just didn't know I had bipolar disorder, which did throw me for a curveball. So for the rest of my pregnancy, I was on a low dose of sertraline, which is an antidepressant as well as anxiety medicine. Shortly after that, that's when we met with the midwife, and I did tell her about what happened. And so pretty much what it came down to is that she wasn't going to be a good fit for us, because then my mental stability was barely, you know, getting where it needed to be, and just my risks back then, they outweighed the benefits of, you know, me having a home birth. So it came down to, we did have a home birth. So I ended up having a hospital birth. During that experience, I did deliver at a hospital here in El Paso. I didn't want to have an epidural, but because of the timing and just the conditions of my pregnancy, everything happened really fast, and I went into preterm labor, and my husband had just gotten off work. He worked a night job at the time, and so he needed that time to rest to be like able to help. Like, he literally worked all night. So I had him sleeping there on the couch, and I was doing good by myself for the most part. But then when I needed the nurse's help, they weren't very attentive to me. They wouldn't help me labor naturally, you know, as far as getting up or like bouncing on a ball or offering me anything to, you know, make me comfortable. And then the nurse, before shift change, pretty much pressured me into getting a epidural, because that the other nurses were still going to be a while before they came in. I ended up having an epidural, hated it. It was a horrible experience. The healing was horrible. So that is why we decided to have a home birth. So now fast forward to a year and a half later, I feel great. Besides this issue right now, I have felt great. The conditions that had me in the mental state that I was back then have completely changed. I have cut out people of my life who were toxic, and this is including family members. I have cut them out. Like, I've been happy. I've been happy. Our businesses have been doing great. I feel blessed. I feel grateful. Every day, you know, is a mental battle with myself, and I wake up and remind myself of everything that I'm grateful for. Like, our most recent child, Kianah, has blossomed into this beautiful little personality with her sisters, and like, you know, I've been doing good. I have not needed to take medication anymore. I do still receive services from a mental health organization here in El Paso called Emergence. Because of the pandemic, they have been short-staffed with therapists, but I have what's called a caseworker who is constantly in touch with me, who I can call, like if I ever just need to vent to somebody, and he's been great, as well as I have a psychiatrist that I see every 4 months, and he has also agreed that I'm doing great and there's no need to put my unborn child at risk by taking medication during my pregnancy. Cool. So now it was about 28 weeks when we found the birthing center that we decided we were gonna go with. And our initial consultation ended up being about 3 hours long because, well, honestly, it was a great consultation. The vibe from just being at the birthing center was beautiful. The staff was amazing. And in that time, okay, I cried and confided and everything, and was very transparent about my mental health past. And I told them about me being hospitalized. I told them about me taking medication. I told them how I felt about taking medication during pregnancy because I already have a child on the spectrum. And one of the risks that has been linked even by the CDC about taking antidepressants while pregnant is that it can later develop autism down the line of the child's life, which, I mean, not that it's a bad thing, but I obviously don't want to set my child up, especially when I already have a child on the spectrum. So I was transparent with them, and I told them, you know, I have been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I have depression and anxiety that I have been diagnosed with, but in this moment in time, I have not felt it. I have not felt anxious. I have not felt depressed. You know, I keep busy. I take natural supplements that help my mood, you know, stay in a stabilized manner, or whatever you want to call it. And they said, okay. They said, okay. And I signed a contract with them. And I paid a non-refundable deposit at that first visit. And then at every appointment after that, prenatal care, $100 of the $200 that was due at the visit is also non-refundable, of course, you know, for the midwife's time and whatnot, for the visit itself. So today I go to my 36-week appointment, and mind you, our diaper bash was just this past weekend. I had an emotional weekend. I had an overwhelming weekend, and I did have a, I guess, emotional breakdown this weekend. And so today when I go to my appointment, she does my vitals and we check on baby and all of that stuff, and we're talking, and she asked me how I was emotionally. And because I had already felt so comfortable with these women at the facility, I confided in her. And I confided in her about my weekend and let her know that I had an emotional episode, or so be it. But I reassured her that I was okay, and that, you know, I had my sister for support. I had my sister in that moment who I was able to call, and she was able to calm me down. Like, you know, I was okay. I'm not gonna self-harm. I'm none of that. I reassured her I was okay. Now, mind you, the lady that I spoke with for my appointment today was a student midwife. Like, she's not fully certified yet. And I guess the main midwife for the birthing center was in the office, and she was dealing with another birth that was happening in that moment. And so I left my appointment and I was fine. And shortly after leaving, like 5 minutes after I left, I get a call, and it's the main midwife. And pretty much what it came down to is that from this point forward, they would not be able to take me on as a client anymore, and I would not be able to receive, you know, services from the birthing center, because me disclosing that information with them, pretty much I risked myself out, meaning I have showed them that I guess I'm mentally unstable. Therefore, it is a risk that they are not legally able to handle, and they have to transfer me out to a hospital to receive the rest of my prenatal care. And when I tell y'all, like, even now, it's been so long since I've had any emotional episodes or whatnot, and I have felt so accomplished for it, because, well, one, when you have a mental condition and you start to receive help, you realize later on down the road how it affects your spouse, your children, your families. Realize later on down the road how it affects your spouse, your children, your families, everyone around you. It affects them. And so for me to wake up every day and to put this fight to be a better person, not only for myself, but for my spouse and for my kids and for the people who have to be around me, you know, like, I felt so accomplished, and then only to be robbed from an experience that I was so excited for because of my mental health, because of something that was, to me, small, and I, you know, felt comfortable enough to confide in this lady, only to be told, you know, you're just a risk. You're a risk that we are not allowed to legally, you know, handle. Like, I just feel so defeated, because it's like, no matter how long I have put in this work to fight for my mental health, it comes back, you know, with the health industry. And, you know, it happens to people all the time. They don't get jobs because of their mental history and stuff like that. And here I am, like, being denied services over something that wasn't even that big. And, like, I feel like I have been pushed back to square one. You know, like, this is my last pregnancy that me and my husband have discussed. You know, we're done having kids, and everything has been so perfect from the moment I got pregnant until now. And I mean, it still is. Baby's healthy. I haven't had no issues, no complications. And I was finally gonna get my birth at the birthing center instead of the hospital. And now that has been taken. And it's so unfair. It's so unfair, because I know that I'm not the only one who has been denied certain opportunities because of our mental health. And as a woman who's a mother, who's a businesswoman, who's a friend, there's so many women out there who really do commit suicide after postpartum depression or any episodes that they have, because we are so fearful to reach out and receive help, you know, because of this reason right here. Like, it's like, once they've stamped that disorder on your card of life, you know, like, it just comes back and it fucking bites you in the ass. And I find myself sitting here feeling ashamed of who I am and just asking God, like, why can't I be normal? And I know I shouldn't. And I'm so thankful that, you know, I came home to open arms of my husband, because it's not my fault, you know, and I have to sit here and tell myself that. And I decided to share this experience in a post on Facebook, and I have so many people on there, you know, just like telling me, like, you need to be the voice for people. And I, like, a part of me doesn't want to disclose, like, the name of the birthing center, but then I'm like, part of me, like, I feel like this was a setup, because when I was speaking on the phone with her, I asked her, okay, so is there anything that I can do to fix this? Because, I mean, it's not that serious. I have a caseworker, I have a psychiatrist that I see. Like, what can I do? And she said the only thing that I could do is pretty much prove to them that I'm back to being medicated, along with seeing my therapist. So I'm like, to me, in my head, I'm like, that defeats the whole purpose of wanting this whole holistic experience. Like, and the fact that you make a pregnant mother feel like she has to be medicated, that's one of the reasons why, you know, women are so fearful of receiving treatment, because not everyone wants to take medication. Not everyone, you know, a lot of people are smart enough to understand how the side effects, you know, work, and just that's their own personal, you know, choice. And to make a mother feel like she has to be forced to take medication to receive your services, like, that's a shitty feeling. And so I came home and I just couldn't, like, even now, like, it's been about 2 hours since I've been home, and I can't understand. And I even called her back, like, why would you take me on as a client? And I asked her that. I said, if I was open and I disclosed this information from the get-go, why would you take me on as a client? And her words were, because when you sign this contract, you are assuring us that there won't be any, you know, manic episodes or anything, that you are mentally stable enough for this. And I even told her, like, that don't even make sense. No person with a mental condition, even while taking medication, can assure you 100% that something may not happen. A death can happen. And I guarantee you, even on medication, there's gonna be an episode. Like, you can't ask that of a patient with a mental health condition. And so she was like, well, the thing is, we've had clients with, you know, bipolar disorder or the same conditions you have, and everything has gone good. Okay. And then, so that allows you to be biased towards future clients that you take on. Like, we're all different. You can't hold me to the same standards as the next client or the last client or a future client, because I am me. And I am me only, and I can only speak for myself. So if I sit here and I tell you I had a mental episode, or mind you, I'm 8 months pregnant and emotional. Like, the fuck? And you use that against me, like, to make me feel like I'm mentally unstable? Like, how is that fair? How is that fair? It's not fair at all. So pretty much I've been ruled out indefinitely as a client, what she said, since I won't take medication. And as far as the money that we've paid, because I signed a contract, I will only be receiving a $200 refund out of the $1,100 that we've paid so far. And now I'm 36 weeks pregnant, and I don't have $3,000 to dish out for, you know, a personal midwife. So I have to go give birth in a hospital. And a lot of people may be like, well, oh my God, it's not a bad thing. Like, people do it every day. People do a lot of shit every day. Like, doesn't mean I have to do it. And I'm not saying that I won't, like, because at this point, that's my only option. I have to give birth, and I obviously want to make sure that the health of my child is okay. But as a woman, I know there are women out there who understand my frustration, my hurt. You know, I'm not gonna ever get pregnant again after this. There's no do-overs. I won't get this back. And you know, I am so blessed because I have friends already on Facebook talking about fundraising and starting a GoFundMe so that I could get a midwife. But I guess the pride in me and just, you know, I understand how the world works. Like, I know that there are people out there with more serious issues and families, you know, single mothers with children who really need help out there. And I could never sit here and accept money from people to pay for my experience with a child I chose to bring into this world. I can't. But it just sucks to feel like this. And on that post, I did make a promise, like, this isn't right that this decision is being made based on my mental health. It's not fair. And I vow to do what I need to make a change for other women and other moms. Like, I had somebody comment on that post, like, she's scared because of this experience that I shared. She's scared to go seek help because she doesn't want that official diagnosis for herself because of what it may do to her down the road. Please, if you suffer from depression, anxiety, psychosis, bipolar, whatever it may be, and you have that opportunity to go and seek help, please go do it, because you matter. Someone told me I matter, and I'm telling you, you matter. If you're a mom already with existing kids, do it for them, do it for you, because they need their mama. And that is just, it's not fair to our kids, you know, that we sit here and suffer in silence. Although we don't mean it, and we think in the long run that, you know, we're trying to keep them away from our depression. But that is how these generational curses have continued to go on for so long, because our parents were going through things and you know, had their own ways of parenting. And you know, that's where, you know, we come in. And so now the only way we can break these generational curses is by seeking help, not being afraid. Like, if you have that help, please take it. The suicide rate in young moms and in young people in general, like, has gone up, and it's ridiculous. Like, so all in all, I guess I'm just making this video to share my experience with y'all, but y'all mark my words, I'm not gonna let this defeat me. I'm hurt right now because I feel ashamed, you know, and I shouldn't, because you know, my husband told me right now, like, I still get up every day and do the mom shit, do the businesswoman shit, do it all, and I keep myself together, you know. And me having an emotional episode and being vulnerable to my own emotions, and it doesn't make me a bad person, and I'm gonna overcome this. You know, I have to sit here and look around and be grateful. I still have a very healthy, active baby girl who will be here in about 3 weeks or less, and I have 3 beautiful daughters who are healthy. I have my home, bills are paid, like, I have nothing to complain about. So I'm gonna be okay. But I want you to know that you are not alone. you know, all you other mothers out there, young mothers, old mothers, experienced mothers, like, I'm here for you. And I don't care if it's just through social media. If you have me on any type of social media, you can always reach out to me and share your experience, and we can talk about it. And by all means, like, I can share resources, because this is a crappy feeling, you know, to feel like at one point in time you sought out help to be a better you, only for it to come and backfire and bite you in the ass. And I mean, this video also is to just show the rawness of the shit that I go through. I'm a human being. I'm nobody famous. I'm nobody compared to the influencers I follow. You know, I have been through some shit in my life, and now I'm entering 30 grateful. I will be 30 next year, y'all. Whew. But I will be 30 next year, and I'm happy. I am grateful for the experiences that I have dealt with, because they've all taught me lessons. And like my man said, everything happens for a reason. So I'm gonna figure it out. Who knows? I might just give birth in my bathroom. So, you know, but I had to share this experience because I feel like it just needed to be heard. It sucks, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. And I got my cup of ice. Okay, I'm done crying. I'm done crying. I still have the rest of my day to have with my kids and my man, and I'm gonna make the best of it. But I feel better. I feel better for sharing this with y'all. And I want to thank everybody who has commented on my Facebook post, because y'all don't understand how much it means to me, just to even see like people who I don't really know, like on a personal level, and just the support that these women have dished out to me. And I've done nothing for them, you know, and that's the kind of love and support we need to give one another as women in general, whether you're a mom or not. You know, people are always talking about women empowerment, but I constantly see on social media how we still tear each other down and all of that, and that's trash. That's ghetto. So, excuse me. I just want to thank you guys, and I mean, share your experiences in the comments. I would love to hear if anyone has experienced anything like this. And if so, how did you handle it? Like, how do you handle being judged for your mental health history? How do you continue to feel motivated to continue to better yourself when you've been judged? You know, like, please share your experiences. I know there's other people who are just sitting there watching who would, you know, like to hear, and, you know, we'll just go from there. So I love you guys, and I thank you so much just for the continued support. And no more crying. I'm gonna end this video here. Like I said before, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And hit the like button on this video, or the dislike video. I don't know, people may not like this video because I may just come off as a crybaby to them. I don't care. But yeah, so don't forget to follow me on social media. I will go ahead and post all my handles for you, and I love you guys, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye. Hi guys, so I have a update as far as everything that you just watched. It's the next day, and so I went back to the birthing center to collect my $200, which was the only amount that we were going to get refunded out of the $1,100 we had already paid. And I spoke with the owner. Now, I don't remember if I said this before, but the lady I initially had my appointment with wasn't my midwife. She was a student midwife in training, and pretty much what it came down to is, you know, I was venting to her about my emotional weekend and whatnot, and I guess I was too exaggerated, and she felt worried about me, that I might be suicidal and whatnot, although those are not the words being used as to why they cannot take me as a client anymore. But because she's a student and it was reported to her, which is the owner, which was the lady who called me to tell me this over the phone, like I said before, I've been ruled out indefinitely as a client. When I showed up, I was upset. Obviously, I was very upset. And I made that very, very clear. And I mean, I pretty much told her, like, not as a threat, but I told her that I had a platform and that I definitely planned on using it to bring awareness, because I didn't think it was fair. And even to this point, like, you know, for future clients, I don't think it's fair that they may possibly take on a client that has bipolar disorder or depression or anxiety or psychosis and whatnot, and they're under the impression that, you know, that's not going to affect their childbirth, and this, you know, whole situation happened again. So I did explain that to her. I explained to her how defeated it made me feel as somebody with a mental condition. I explained to her, like, how upsetting it feels to, you know, be working so hard on yourself every day. It's literally something that you have to literally train your brain, meditate on, and really devote yourself to being better at, because it's not just something that'll change overnight, especially if you're not taking medication like myself. She listened to me and pretty much explained to me that as a business entity, the birthing center themselves cannot take me on as a client. I had my caseworker from my mental health program call her, and even then they cannot. But what she did explain to me and offer me was she could offer me a home birth as my midwife. So she would come here, my appointments would be here, because although we wanted a home birth, we decided to go with the birthing center just because we thought it was a little more convenient. The price was a little bit better, so we went with the birthing center. So normally the birthing center charges about $3,500 for a home birth, for the midwives to come to your house for the appointments, all your prenatal appointments, be here and be on call for your, while you're in active labor, delivering the baby, do everything, as well as aftercare and a few postpartum visits. So, you know, she understood how I felt and pretty much explained to me, like, she didn't feel right doing it, and what she said was, for someone to have a patient or a client with mental health problems and to be so far along in her pregnancy, and then we deliver these news, she said, even as a business owner, it didn't feel right for me. But because of the legality behind all of it, there was nothing she could do. But we were able to find a loophole. So she's offering me, you know, a home birth at pretty much half the price, $1,500. And from here on out, like, our visits will be here at home, and that's kind of just it. So as of right now, you know, I did tell my husband, at this point, I have stopped my income, meaning I don't do cake orders, I'm not doing, I'm not taking makeup clients, as well as I'm not taking tattoo clients. So, you know, I did explain to my husband, but I understand how this can become a financial burden as well, even though it's the birth of our child, like I just don't want him to feel like pressured because I need to get what I want, you know, as far as the home birth. So I spoke with my sister, and what I decided to do was go ahead and fundraise. So this weekend I'm gonna be making enchilada plates, and throughout the week, selling and delivering them, and see what I can come up with. Yeah, I hate to feel like I'm in this position, like having to even come up with money and like stressed about it, but I don't know, like one of the things when I was, you know, emotional yesterday was the anxiety that I felt, like feeling like I was being pushed into a corner to now I have to deliver at a hospital. And that's a crappy feeling. Like this whole situation in itself is really crappy. And I kind of wish I was able to, I guess, hear what the other lady told her in regards to what I spoke, like what I said to her, because I'm like, well, what exactly could you have exaggerated for them to feel that I was such a risk, you know? But it's okay. So I'm still not, I'm not telling myself that I have to deliver in a hospital just yet. I haven't accepted that. Like I won't mentally, I can't, you know, like I said, my anxiety is just like, nah dog, nah. So I'm going to fundraise and see what I can come up with and just kind of put it in his hands and let the universe somehow work itself out. I am 36 weeks as of yesterday. Earlier this week I was contracting, but nothing too serious. My doctor did check me, and I'm completely closed still, so I have about 3 to 4 weeks to go. So I have about 3 to 4 weeks to figure something out, because, well, if our appointments start next week, I'm pretty sure she needs some kind of deposit, but whatever. But I just wanted to update you guys, so it's not like the company themselves is like really trying to scam me. Yesterday I could feel everybody's anger and support through my post on Facebook, and I mean they felt the rawness that I exposed myself to them, you know. So I really want to say thank you to everyone again who commented and has been giving me advice and has been reaching out through Messenger. Y'all don't understand how much I support it, and I mean I support it, I appreciate it. But yeah, so that's really it. If you don't follow me on Facebook and Instagram, I'll go ahead and leave my links right here for you guys to follow me, or my name, really, my handles. And I will keep you guys posted, and don't worry, I haven't forgot. I will be uploading our baby shower vlog after this video as well. So thank you guys, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Make sure you hit the little bell and get notifications every time I upload new content. So I will see you guys later.